I don't know. It felt like a Mrs. Doubtfire kind of morning. Hello, hello, good morning. I am Andrew Hochradel, and I am your host for the Illustrator Challenge today. We are going to be covering my top typography tips. It's going to be a great one. If you know me, I'm a brand identity designer. Hello. And typography is my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to work on in Illustrator. So I'm going to show you some hacks, some tips, some tricks of how I like to work in Adobe Illustrator with typography. If you want to join me, you can grab the source file down in the down in the description. There is a source file down there that you can join me in working on that looks like this. So our challenge today is from font pairings to custom glyphs, learn the best way to take your type to the next level. It just felt like I needed to read it like that. So this is what we're going to be doing today, and we're just going to hop right in and get started. I have 5 things total to show you today. Some of them overlap. So the first thing, one of the things you can do in Adobe Illustrator is use the touch type tool for your typography. We do have live type here, and if you notice any theme with what we're working on today, if you can guess the theme, let me know in the live chat, or if you're watching, put it down in the comments. What is our theme with all of these words? All right, so with our first thing that we're going to use, we are going to use the touch type tool. And to open that, we are going to Control T or go to Window and then go to Type and go to Character. So that's going to open up our type panel right here. We have character panel, which has all the options. I like to call it the type panel. So what we're going to do is we are going to click on touch type tool. And this onions is okay, but I want it to be a little more fun. So what we can do is we could outline this and try to do like moving them as shapes. And a lot of people in live chat, yes, it is omelet is our theme today. So we could try to outline this and move it as shapes, but I want to make sure that I can still change it if I needed to. So all I need to do is click on the touch type tool with this type selected, and then we can select a single letter and we can scale it down if we want. We can rotate it if we want. And this one I'm going to make kind of wonky and fun. And the other thing that's cool is we can click and drag, and you can actually drag these letters wherever you need them to go. We could drag them way up here. We could drag them over to the side. This one, if we want it closer, we could do it over here. All right, that doesn't look crazy. But we can select these individually and really play around with how we want them to be kind of perceived. We can drag squishy. I don't want to squish these letters, actually. Let's make sure that we just grab the corners and bring this down. And you'll see that it's behaving just like it was shapes, right? It's behaving like it's outlined. But let me do a couple things. Sure, let's squish that. And then let's bring it down this way. Let's put it up here. Onions. Yes, this is, it's saying all kinds of weirdness. Put this one down here. So what's cool is not only is this editable still, we could come in here and maybe we wanted to call it onions, right? And we could do O, and what it's doing is it's actually keeping all of the different assets that we had changed on this letter to the letter that I'm replacing it with, right? So if I click here, you can see that this letter has a little bit of vertical stretch. It's got a little bit of lift, and it's stretched horizontally a little bit. And so when I change this to say onions, you can see that all of those settings stayed the same. And if there is something that is off, you can always come in, use the touch type tool again, and just move it over. And it's going to move the individual letter as well as the letters after it if you're moving things around. So it's a really powerful tool. I actually do want this to be an O, so I'm going to change that back to an O, and then I'll move this right over there. So the touch type tool, my goodness, the touch type tool is one of my favorite tools, super powerful to be able to use in Illustrator. And I believe, I might lie to you right now. Nope, it works. You can actually come in here and you can change each of these individual colors, right? So if we wanted kind of a scallion-y color scheme, I can come in here and simply play around with different greens to make this kind of like scallion look. That's kind of fun. And using that touch tool, you can use We're falling apart. Using the touch type tool, you can change the colors, the orientation, the size, the scale, and it is all still live type, which is really important if you need to go back and edit things. So let's go ahead and move over to our next piece. The next thing I want to show you here in Adobe Illustrator. You can stack effects on live text in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to show you how to stack some strokes and fills. And that way, as we're working, we can create something that's like a cool outline, like sports logo, super sharp and edgy using these tools. So what we're going to do is we are going to click on right here, the stroke, and we are going to, yes, put a stroke on it, right? And you can see as we do the stroke, it's going to make it way thicker and it's creating some really interesting kind of pieces. But this isn't where we want to do the stroke. This is probably where you're used to it, but this is not where we want to actually do the stroke. So we are going to take that off by coming over here, clicking on our stroke and just hitting the strike through. What we're going to do is come to the appearance panel. This is a little bit of a different use. We're going to come to the appearance panel, and with this selected, we are also going to go no fill. So we're going to turn off the fill here. So there's nothing on this type, and that's fine because what we're going to do is we're going to add it manually in different pieces. So we're going to come here and we are going to, over behind my head, here, let me move this up. Also, you can just drag stuff around on the toolbar. There we go. So right here, you can see that we have add new stroke and we have add new fill. So we're going to click here on add new fill and you can see that it's added in that fill. Now I want to do some kind of egg look. So we're going to do this kind of dark goldenrod. This is going to be the yolk. And maybe we'll put like a spread around it to create kind of the egg whites. So what we can do is we are going to click right here to now add, to the left, add a new stroke. So this is a different way of doing fill and stroke. And you can see that that stroke is already happening. So we are going to add in kind of this gray stroke, and that's going to be for the egg whites. And you can increase the size of the stroke, or you can click right here on the stroke panel and it will open up a little mini version of the stroke panel. So that's what I want. I'm just going to increase it so we have that nice little cut. And maybe I do want to have some rounded edges. Yeah, let's do some rounded edges. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's do this at 8 just so it's, there we go. So that's looking good. I want to change this actually one lighter. And then we're going to put this on a black background just for the sake of demonstration here. Also now it looks like it's in a skillet. So we have, the stroke that is on the text. Here's the problem. Right now it's sitting on top of the text, which is fine for the effect that we want, but I want it to be behind the fill. So what I can do is I simply need to click right here on the fill, and we are going to add a new stroke. So this is just multiple strokes being added up. And this time I'm going to make it the color of the background. So we're going to make it black, and we're not going to see anything happening with this. Actually, I'll make it red so you guys can see what's happening. So it's red, and as I fill this, you'll see that now it is adding on to our existing stroke, right? But we want this one behind the fill, not on top. So you can click and drag, and it will then go behind the fill, which is behind all of the text, right? So we have a stroke on top of the fill, and then we have the fill color and then a stroke behind the fill. So really powerful way to transform your type in Illustrator by just stacking these effects. So I'm going to click here and I want this to just be black. So I'm going to click on black right there. And I also want this to be sharp. So we're going to change the corner back to sharp. I'm going to do that on both of them. And now I want to add another one that is behind even further, that is pure white, that maybe is a little bit thicker. So we have this black stroke here so that we can kind of have a separation. When I add another stroke, I'm immediately going to drag this behind our black stroke, and we're going to change this one to just full white. And you can see it popped up just a little bit there, and we're going to increase the size here, right? So we can keep going. Yeah. And now we have a super sharp logo right there. And I do want to round them. It's a little aggressive. So I'm just going to round out those corners on all of these. Right there. And one more round. There we go. So you can see now we've got this nice outline happening with type, and it is all just stacked on top of each other. So someone is asking, could the egg white be wavy? Sure. And the cool thing about this is the type and the shapes are staying the same, but all of these effects are affecting the different pieces. So if we want to add a wavy effect on top, we can come up here to the top, right, where this stroke is, and we are going to stack a effect on top of everything. So before we do that, I do want to read a comment that just came in the live chat from Paulina. Hi, I'm new here. Want to say big thank you for teaching me all these tips as I'm new to Illustrator, but also I can practice my English as well. Win-win. Hi, nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. All right, so what we're going to do is with this selected, we have all of our strokes and fills in the appearance panel instead of doing them manually. So we can come up to effects, and then we're going to do distort and transform, and we are going to do roughen. And that's going to give us a very wiggly edge. And I'm actually going to zoom in here so we can see that really well. Effect, distort and transform, roughen. And we are going to turn on our preview. That looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and change. Interesting. Okay, let's see what happens here. If I hit OK, in theory, this roughen should be on this type. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, here's what we need to do. We need to select the type right here, and then we are going to go to Effect, Distort and Transform, and Roughen. There we go. I had the wrong thing selected. I had a stroke that didn't have anything on it. So we are going to take this down again to like 0.2, maybe 0.5. And then the detail, I'm going to make very just like subtly wobbly, and maybe 1 is the answer. We're going to do smooth and then hit OK. All right, so check that out. We've got nice, and the cool thing is this is live type. So if I need to change the spacing, I can come in here and just change the spacing by moving things out that way. And so if we look in our appearance panel, you can see the roughen is on top of all these effects. So it's affecting all of these effects. Now watch this. If I move the roughen below that white stroke, you'll see that the white stroke now goes into a little bit of a more straight look because the roughen is not being applied to everything, right? It's only applied to the things below it. So always keep your effects on top if you want it to affect every single piece. All right, we did it. We got 10 minutes left, just enough time to keep going here with some more type tool tips. So the next is a tip that I actually learned from TikTok. Like if you haven't gotten on design TikTok, you need to find your way there because there are really, really great tips. And so this one, I'm going to show you, I don't remember the username, but it was a fantastic tip that I saw on TikTok. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do with this one is we're actually going to have to outline our type. I try not to do that, but we need this to be shapes to really play around and do the augmentations that we're trying to do. So we are going to go to Object, Expand. We're going to hit OK. And from there, we are going to use the brush tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and ungroup. There we go. Also, if you're watching this, head over to Adobe Live on YouTube and subscribe. You can stay in the chat, but if you're watching the replay, just hit that subscribe button. Easy peasy. All right, so now that our type is outlined, we have each of these as its own thing. And cheese, of course, I want it to be drippy and melty and delicious. And we could come in here with the pen tool and try to do like some little blobs and like it would look, I mean, like not good, right? It's not looking great. I want to actually change the type itself. So what I can do is I can grab the brush tool, which is just B, and we're going to hit enter. And hitting enter is going to allow us to change some settings here. So I want to change the fidelity all the way up to smooth with the brush tool. And then I want to do edit selected paths. This is the most important thing. Edit selected paths, and I'm going to change the width to 12 pixels, right? That just means when I get close to a path, it's going to make it a little bit, it's going to start editing that path. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And now with the brush tool, right? If I brush out here, nothing's going to happen. But if I have this shape selected and I grab the brush tool and I start painting near it, so we can kind of come here and maybe we want these wobbly little cheese wiggles, right? That it's kind of dripping through. What we can do is let go. Andrew, why? Oh my goodness. Hold on. What is happening here? I'm hurting is what's happening here. I swear that this works, y'all. I know that it does. I'm hurting. Okay, so let's do this because it's currently not working the way that I want it to, and I'm not fully confident why. Let me check one more thing. Fill brushes, keep selected. Let's do keep selected, edit paths. That's what I want. And let's hit OK. And now when I come in here, okay, I'm disappointed. But what I can do is, let's see if I grab these on direct selection. I practiced this and it worked like 100%. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete one of these anchor points right here so that it is now an open path. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Our live chat came through. I need to have this selected and be on the fill. And let's see if the brush tool works now. No. Okay. That's fine. So we're going to delete one of these anchor points. And I believe if I use the brush tool now, it will continue to... Everything's falling apart. Everything's falling apart, and I don't know why this isn't working the way that I want to. And I apologize to y'all. This should be editing, man, the paths. Let's bring this here and then try it this way. Oh, man. I know, the life of a live streamer on camera. Why is this not working? Maybe if I click into it and select it, I can use the brush tool to edit. Oh, man. Is it because it's a compound path? This is what I love about live streaming is we get to work on things together and figure them out as we go. I may move on from this one. This is not going to work. I'm going to give it one more try, and then we got like 9 minutes. So I'm going to give it one more try here. Fill new brush strokes. Let's try that. Hit OK, and then see if we can augment. Man, I'm so bummed. I'm so bummed that that isn't working the way that I remember it working or the way that I want it to work. Blob brush isn't it. I don't think. No. All right. Well, we're gonna skip over that one. I'm so sorry, y'all, about that. But we're gonna come over here and I'm gonna show you how to very quickly use. And I'm like so determined to make this work, and I don't want to just like have you keep working on this. All right, I give up. Yikes. Man, if I figure that out, literally someone in the live chat just gave me the right answer. I believe that I need to use the pencil tool and not the brush tool. My brain was exploding and we found it. Come to the pencil tool, not the paintbrush tool. So the pencil tool right here, you can click, we can hit enter, and this is what we want. All of the settings are the same, and that's why I was so mixed up. So edit paths within 6 pixels, hit OK, and watch this. If I have an object selected with the pencil tool, I can click and drag, and it is going to augment the edge of that type. Yes, we got it. My goodness, I love it. All right, so with this selected, now we can come in here with the pencil tool, and we can click and drag and make this so that it is a very drippy kind of cheese look, and then bring it in right here and check that out. Now we have, oh, it worked so good. That's 100% what I wanted. Now we have this really great kind of cheesy look for our design. Oh, that is a gross cheese. That is a very violent cheese. That's none of these cheeses are great. Sure. So very easily we can come in here with the pencil tool and we can just click and do some blobs. And that will allow us to change these shapes into actual new shapes using this pencil tool. It augments and changes each of these pieces. There we go. And it is all one shape, right? It changes these points so you can use it as a shape. This is a fantastic way to augment and change your type very quickly and very easily. I'm so glad that we got through that. All right. So the next thing that we can do is we have Adobe font integration here in Adobe Illustrator, all integrated. We don't have to go anywhere, but we can if we want to. So we can go to fonts.adobe.com. We can click on recommendations maybe, and we can sort through. Hey, Andrew, what are you working on today? Let's see. let's kind of scroll through here and for you, this is going to take the fonts that you have in your Creative Cloud library and then give you some more that might be interesting. This is my newest obsession. I love mixed case fonts. I absolutely love a lowercase with an uppercase. I'm so into it. So we're going to click on activate one font, and we're actually not going to activate it here. I'm going to show you how to do this in Adobe Illustrator. So we can come back to Adobe Illustrator and we can click on our type right here. And we can actually come in to find more. So click on find more right here, and it's initializing. So it's pulling every font from Adobe Fonts into Adobe Illustrator so that we can preview them live. That's the crazy thing, is this will allow us to preview these fonts live as we scroll through the different names. So if you don't want to do it up here because this is going to cover a lot of your screen, like the majority of your screen, what you can do is you can open up the type panel, right? So all I need to do is I'm going to open up my characters panel right here, and then we can click and it's going to bring it over to the side. And what's cool is we can go to find more right here, and you can see all the fonts are here. And as I scroll through, you get a live view of all of the fonts that you have synced from Creative Cloud. And this is showing all of the fonts in Creative Cloud. So you can literally scroll through and see every font that is in Creative Cloud. And I'm going to find the one that I want by just typing in soap. And all we need to do is click on this little activate, and it is going to sync that across the cloud. And what's cool is if someone else, which is you, if you opened this source file, you should have gotten a pop-up that asks you if you want to sync the Adobe fonts, and you can just click on sync and it will update everything on this file. So there should be fonts missing when you open this file. And that was a little extra for you. I just wanted to show you that you can sync seamlessly and it just goes right through. So we have this synced right there, and oops, everything looks good. And now I can just type in soap and boom, our font is there. Now we want to find something to pair with this. And the best way to do that is to go to our type tool, and maybe we just select these and we'll bring the size down a little bit and then scroll this up. Now I want a font that works with these. And so I'm looking at the different kind of aspects of this font. And it is thicker, it is blobby, it doesn't have too much line weight difference, and it's kind of a slab serif. So what we can do is we can click here on find more, and then we can click on filters. And this is a fantastic, amazing tool. Clicking on filters, we know information that we want to pair this with. We want something that is a slab serif, right? And then we want something that's maybe a little bit lighter, so we have some contrast in our text. And then this font feels very wide, so I think I want something maybe that's a little more regular width to contrast with it. There's not a lot of line weight difference, and so I want something that maybe has regular contrast. And now I can scroll through and see all of the fonts that I can pair with this, right? And so we're trying to get a contrast, but something that's similar, right? So we have the slab serif, but it's going to be a little bit thinner and a little bit lighter by using those filters. You can see there's a lot of fonts here that we could use. So I'm just going to scroll through and you can see what they look kind of side by side. I love this one, Tariff. And let's see if there is another version. Right, so there is a medium version that looks good to me. So all I need to do is click to sync that to my Adobe Creative Cloud. It is syncing it here so that I can use it in my document. It takes like maybe 10 seconds to sync fonts. You can sync as, I think there's a limit, but it's like 1,500 or something crazy. You can sync a ton of fonts. I don't know what the limit is because like you'll probably never hit it, but you can sync as many fonts as you want until it stops you here in Creative Cloud. And then I'm just going to type in, oh no, what was the font that I just used? Find more. It was down here somewhere. Did we just lose it forever? Tariff. There we go. So it's Tariff and right there, medium. So you can see now that we have a nice pairing. This actually is a really good pairing. I'm not mad about this at all. And I'm going to move this just because I want to see the ampersand. Ooh, fun. And there we go. So we have a nice pairing there that we did all in program. We didn't have to go anywhere else to change anything. Literally all in program here, creating some effects. So those are my top typography tips for you. If you're watching these on replay, continue the playlist, keep watching these videos because we have the top color tips coming to you. And we also have my top efficiency tips. So this week, all about my top tips, my best things. My face looks weird because I'm about to sneeze. Ooh, that's a way to end a stream. All right, I will see you another time for another lesson and later this week. Tomorrow and the next day are going to be videos that I just recorded this morning. And so I know that they're good. They have great information. Stick around and I will see you again and hang out for the video challenge. See you later. Bye.